Hey my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If today is your first time of seeing my video, thank you for stopping by, and to all my returning subscribers, thank you for your support. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how I made this beautiful mesh dress. This is a flame mesh dress with a drape on the front and an asymmetric neckline. So originally the neckline on the inspiration is actually a round neckline, but my client opted for this. If this is what you're interested in, make sure to watch this video to the end. So to make this dress, I made use of this mesh fabric, and it stretches a lot. Okay, this fabric stretches on both ways, as you can see, and I have it to be 4.5 years. And this is a lycra fabric. It also stretches. I'm going to be using it to line this up, so it also stretches both ways, as you can see. And what I have is 2.5 years. So because of the nature of my fabric, I am going to be drafting directly on the pattern paper, and then later on I will transfer it. So I started by rolling out a shoulder line at the top. I'm going to place my tape on the shoulder line. I will mark my half length. Okay, I'll mark my waistline, which is 19 inches plus extra half inches for joining into the down part. I will go ahead to connect it across and label it my waistline. So coming over to the shoulder line, I will take half of my shoulder measurement divided by 2. On the shoulder measurement, I will come down my 1 inch, and then come over to this part and take my neck width. I'm using 4 inches in this case. I will go ahead to connect it, as you can see. So from the shoulder line, I'm going to come down to my chest line, which is 9 inches, and I will go ahead to connect the 2 points together and roll it across. So I will also label it my chest line. So come over to my chest line, I will take my bust measurement divided by 4 and mark. I will come over to my waistline as well, take my waist measurement divided by 4, and I will go ahead to connect the 2 points, as you can see. So from the shoulder to the chest line, I will find the midpoint, come in by ½ inch, and I will go ahead to connect from the shoulder to the ½ inch I came in by, and go ahead to blend it into the chest line like so. So for the neck depth, I'm using 1.5 inches for the back, and for the front 4 inches, and I will go ahead to curve out my neckline. So if you have a curve ruler, do well to make use of your curve ruler, and this is what I have. So I'm going to go ahead to cut out only the back neckline. I added ½ inch on the shoulder for stitching allowance, and I'll proceed to cut out my pattern. Now I'm going to place this in a folded fabric and trace out everything exactly the same. That is for the back piece. If you notice, I didn't add any zipper allowance nor any allowance on the side. That's because this fabric stretches a lot. If you add any allowance at the end, you notice that your dress will be too loose. Okay, so with the excess stretch I have on my fabric, I'm going to be using it to attach my zipper and also sew the side seam. So for the front, my paper is now open. Okay, I'm going to be working on the neckline. So if you're making use of a normal round neckline, just go ahead to cut out your front neckline and place it on your fabric and cut out. But because I'm working with an asymmetric neckline, after cutting out the normal round neckline, I'm going to work on the asymmetric neckline, and I want the neckline, the asymmetric, to fall on the left side of the dress. So from the left side, I came down by 6 inches. From the shoulder, I came down by 6 inches. I will extend that line downward like this. I came down by 6 inches, as you can see, and I'm going to blend it in to the round neckline, as you can see me doing like this with the curved part of my ruler. So I blended it into the neckline, and I will cut out. So after that, I'm going to also extend this to the armhole like so, and then I'll cut out. And that is it for my yoke. So I'm going to place it on my fabric to cut out. After cutting out, I'll also cut out the yoke. So my fabric is in a fold of 2, as you can see, and this folded part is the part towards the neckline, while the open part is the part towards the armhole. So I'm going ahead to cut out, leaving ½ inch on the down part for joining allowance. So after cutting it out, you have it looking like this, and this is the back. So for the down part, I cut out 1.5 yards of fabric out of the remaining fabric I have left. I'll be using this 1.5 yards for my front flay. So I'm going to go ahead to fold this in a triangular form, just like we normally fold our flay. Okay, I'm cutting out a 360-degree flay. And the excess fabric I have on the down part, I will take it up like this, as you can see. So it's going to have a joining. So to make it easier, I took it up like this to overlap the one I folded in a triangular form. The next thing I will do is to mark out my waist measurement divided by 4, and I will connect it across. My chalk is not visible at all, as you can see, but just follow the process, you will get it right. After marking it, I connected it. So I'm going to adjust my fabric. I will place my tape on the tip of the fabric. So I will measure it up to the place I marked my waist measurement, and I will take it all around. So this is to give us that flay waistline, okay, that flay waistline. So after that, I'm going to go ahead to cross check what I have, if it will be enough for my waistline, and what I have will be enough. So I'll go ahead to cut out. So the length of the dress I'm working with is 67 inches. The half length is 19 inches, while this down part is 48 inches. So placing my tape on the waistline, I'm going to mark 48 inches all around. As you can see, I'll mark 48 inches all around, and then I will cut out. Just the normal way we take our flay, okay, just go ahead and cut out. And then this is what I have, as you can see. So I'm going to remove the part where I overlapped, so I'm going to be having a joining at that point. So I'll go ahead to go over to my sewing machine. I'm going to stitch that part by 1/2 inch. So for the back piece, okay, this is my flay. I've folded another fabric in a bias form, and I placed the front piece on it. As you can see, I left about 1 inch for zipper allowance on the folded part, even though I didn't leave any zipper allowance on the upper part. So I will go ahead to cut it out, and I will show you what I have. So after cutting it out, I will remove the front piece from it. So the zipper allowance I added on this back piece, I'm going to be removing it, okay. So I came down by 6 inches from the down part, and I'm going ahead to cut out that 1 inch from the waistline. This is the back piece, remember. So I'll go ahead to cut it out. If you added a zipper allowance on your own upper part, you don't need to cut it out, just leave it, okay. So for the lining piece, I'm going to be folding my fabric in a bias form as well. So after folding it in a bias form, I will go ahead to fold it again, that is in a fold of 4. I'm cutting out a 180-degree flay. It's not going to be a full flay. So I'm going to also mark out my waist measurement divided by 4, as you can see. So I will place my tape on the tip also, and mark down to that point where I make my waist measurement. I'm going to take it all around. After checking what I have, it was a bit bigger than my waistline, so I minused 1/2 inch from it. So I'm going to be taking 38 inches as the length of the lining piece, okay. So I'm taking 38 inches all around, as you can see, and then I'll proceed to cut it out. And this is what it is looking like. This is a half flay. So I'm also going ahead to cut out my lining piece. I just placed my main piece, and I'm cutting out my lining piece, as you can see. So the next thing I'm going to do is to start joining. So I placed my yoke on my upper piece, as you can see, and then I'm going to use my lining piece to cover it up, as you can see. So after that, I'm going to stitch by 1/2 inch, only the neckline, and then I'll open it up and top stitch. And for the back as well, I'll also place my lining piece on my main fabric. I will go ahead to stitch the neckline and top stitch. So after I was done turning the neckline, this is what I have. As you can see, I top stitch on the lining piece, and I also sew the main fabric and the lining together to become one piece. I just sew it all around so it becomes one piece. Next I'm going to do is to go ahead to join the shoulders by placing the front and the back right side facing right side. I will stitch by 1/2 inch. After I was done joining the shoulders, this is what I have. So we are going to work on the sleeve part so that we can attach it as well. So for my sleeve, I'm going to roll out a line at this top, which will serve as my starting point. So placing my tape on that starting point, I'll come down by 5 inches. If you're working with a smaller measurement, come down by 4 inches or 4.5 inches. So I'm also going to divide my round measurement into two. The widest part of the arm, which is the bicep, I divided it into two. Now go ahead to connect like this. Okay, the length of the paper I have here is 24 inches, and I'm going to be working with the whole 24 inches as the length of the sleeve. So coming down to this down part, I will divide my wrist measurement by 2, which is 4 inches for me, and I will go ahead to connect like this. So coming over to this upper part, I'm going to be dividing this line here. Okay, this line here, I will divide it by 4. Okay, so I'll divide it by 4. For me, I have 2.5 inches apart, so divide yours and mark whatever you have. I'm marking 2.5 inches apart. So after dividing it into 4, okay, I have 3 lines here. So on this first one, I will go up by 1/2 inch. I will skip the second line and come down to this third one and come down by 1/2 inch as well. I will go ahead to connect from this point to the first one, down to the second one, and then to the third one. I will go ahead to curve everything out like this, as you can see. After that, I'll place it on my fabric and cut. So this part is going to be cut on fold, as you can see. So I'll place it on my fabric and cut. If you have not subscribed to my channel, kindly do that and like this video. Thank you. So after cutting the both sleeves, this is what I have, as you can, for the 2 sleeves. So the next thing I'm going to do is to notch the midpoint so that it will be easier for us to fix. So after notching the midpoint, I'm going to bring my main piece and I will join the sleeve to the shoulder. So the point where I notched is the point that is going to be placed on the joining of the shoulder. Okay, so after joining it, I will stitch from one side to the end and also from one side as well to the end. I'll repeat the same thing for the other side. So the notch part is going to be placed on the joining of the shoulder, and then I will pin down. I will stitch from one side to the end by 1/2 inch, and also from one side to the other end by 1/2 inch. So we are going to be working on that drape we have on the front piece of the flare. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to fold the flare into 2 and also notch the center. As you can see, I'll notch the center, and after I'm done notching the center, I'm going to choose where I want the drape to fall. Okay, just choose where you want yours to fall. For me, I'm going to be choosing the left side as well. So I'm going to mark half of my nipple to nipple measurement from the center. I'll mark half of my nipple to nipple measurement and also notch, as you can see. So I will go ahead to drape. If you have a body form, go ahead and use it because it will make it more easier for you. So I'm just going to drape. Okay, just watch carefully what I'm doing. You can drape it as much as you want. Just pick a fabric downward and then you take it up and pin. As you can see, I'm not pinning it up to the waistline. I left about 1 inch downward before I pinned it, and you pick downward again like this. As you can see, just pick downward and take it up again and you pin. Okay, so just take your time and pick as much as you want. So I will continue this process till I am satisfied with what I have. So if you are draping on a table like I am doing right now, just do it to be spreading your fabric very well so that you won't do any mistake. Okay, so after I am done pinning this one, I'm going to check what I have remaining on the down part because I do not want to tamper with the length of this dress. So I minus my half length, placing it on the waistline to check what I have on the down part, and I think what I have is enough for me. So if you want more drapes, just go ahead and do that, and I will stitch that point. So after I was done joining the sleeve to the shoulder, as you can see, I will place everything right side facing right side. I will go ahead to stitch. Okay, I will go ahead to stitch the sides by 1/2 inch. Just go from the sleeve, stitch it up to the bodice by 1/2 inch. And this is what I have after closing the sides. So I first of all hem the sleeve. Okay, I just hem it by 1/2 inch once, and then this is what I have, and this is it from the wrong side. Okay, so go ahead to weave it. so I'm going to go ahead to keep it aside. So for the down part, after I was done stitching on the drapes, this is what I have it to look like. The next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead to join the back piece to it, the flap part of the back piece. Okay, right side facing right side. So any allowance you use for the upper part, also make use of the same allowance on the down part like this. So I make use of 1/2 inch. I'm also going to close the sides by 1/2 inch. So after I was done joining the front and the back together, this is what I have. The next thing I will do is to bring the lining piece and put it under the flap part like this, and I'll go ahead to secure it. And then after that, I will go ahead to also attach the upper part to the down part like this. And after I was done doing that, this is what I have, as you can see. So the next thing I'm going to do is to turn my fabric over to the wrong side, and then I will go ahead to merge the open at the back, the opening at the back. I'll merge it together, and then from the waistline I will come down by 6 to 7 inches. I will pin it down. So from that point I will stitch all the way down with a normal stitch, and this open part I'm going to be attaching my zipper to it. And that will be the end of today's video. So if you find this video helpful, kindly subscribe to my channel, like, share, and drop a comment. Okay, I would really appreciate if you can drop a comment and share this video so that it will reach to a larger audience. Thank you for watching. Also turn your post notifications so that you get notified whenever I upload new videos. Thank you for watching.